Okay. Yeah.
Do you want me to start
Go
this
ahead.
slideshow?
Yeah.
Yeah, we all know Trish is capable of doing such.
Okay.
Hello, welcome to my presentation on business etiquette. My name is Lynn Lukich, and I'm going to share some tips on how to function in the office to help make your life easier for everybody, especially yourself. Keep that in mind. So one thing you want to think about, you're probably going to be working in a cubicle area. Cubicle areas are closely confined, and there's little or no privacy, and the walls are like cardboard. So that brings me to our first subject, is keep your voice low. If you have to have a long conversation with someone, ask them to go to a conference room or somewhere with a closed door. Use the same thing for the speakerphone. If you have to use a speakerphone, use a conference room or go somewhere with a closed door. Speakerphones are great for some instances. If you are working on a project that requires you to be hands-free, or if you need to talk to several different people that need to be in on the meeting or conference. Please explain to the other person on the end of the line, if you are having a conference call, introduce the person there with you in the office and the reason why they're there. Also, keep your ringtone low. And no chiming in over the cubicles and other people's conversations. A lot of people find this very intrusive and they just might tell you about it, and this can be very embarrassing. Another thing to avoid is foul language. You may want to make up some kind of other language to replace that with. Practice good language habits, and just remember other people may be on the phone with a customer and they may have overheard. This could be a very embarrassing situation for the person on the phone with them. Another thing I'd like to talk about is odor. This could be very disturbing to a lot of people. So something to remember if you are eating at your desk. Before you eat at your desk, I suggest you check office protocol, because find out if it's okay. If people are doing it, most likely it's okay for you too. But please try and stay away from pungent foods such as broccoli, chili, onions, fish. And especially if someone brings it to your attention, they may not say, they may not like it, but I would just pay particular attention to that. Also, another nose irritant can be perfume and body lotion. And it's okay to wear some perfume. It might be like a light body spritz, something light and clean, nothing too pungent, like such fragrances as musks or romantic odors that you might be better suited for the evening. Same thing with candles and air freshener. People are developing allergies today at a rapid pace, and it seems to bother a lot of people. So stay away from those as well. A lot of times you may encounter body odor. This is a very sensitive subject. So Peggy and Peter Post, they were my source for most of this presentation today. They hold seminars constantly on business etiquette, and they pulled people to ask them how a person would like to hear if they had this particular problem. They said they would like to be approached by a close friend or a close coworker. A lot of times you may not feel comfortable about doing this, so you might take it to your supervisor. If you have other people that feel the same way, bring them along, and you might approach the problem. Don't forget that body odor is not only caused by poor hygiene, but it can be medications, dietary deficiency, something like that. So it's a very sensitive subject, so they can handle it appropriately. The next thing we're going to run into sitting in a cubicle are your cubicle lurkers. Some people, they may stop by your desk and start chit-chatting, and it may take a little longer for them to leave. So don't forget that other people do notice if you're having long conversations with people, and they might ask themselves how much work do they have to do that they can afford so much time talking. So to try to ease this situation, You might say something like, can we catch up at a later time, maybe at lunch or after work sometime? If they're not taking the hint, then politely excuse yourself to go make a coffee or pick up the phone like you need to make a phone call. Another thing too about the cubicle lurkers, they can be chronic complainers, something that they never have anything good to say. I would listen attentively, and you could try to give them a tip to handle, but I would try to guide them to a proper solution. I wouldn't get involved or give a solution. A lot of times people just like to complain, and that's all they like to do. They don't want a solution to the problem. So you'll be acting as a good example, and they may think of modifying their behavior in the future. And don't forget, people do have privacy in cubicles. If you approach someone's cube, please knock on the side of the wall or something to get their attention and ask if you can bother them for a minute, and they will let you know. Okay, and the next thing about cubicle etiquette is clutter. It's a little space and it's easy to clutter. A lot of times, most of us will be working in an industry that might have a lot of changes happening on a daily basis, such as a bank, insurance, tax agencies, where you're getting either a paper update or an email. Things to ask yourself to keep the paper or not. Will I need this again for possibly tax or legal purposes? Do you have duplicates? You might receive the copy from several different people in your office. Will I need this in 6 months? And if I do, will it be outdated? Can you visualize how you may need it again? And when you do decide to keep it, I would file it in a binder, label it appropriately, and easy to find if you're